Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to an exciting afternoon for Wales. We are about to find out the results of Referendum 2011. Is it a yes or a no for Wales? We don't know yet, but we're about to find out. The story is about to unfold before your very eyes, live. So stay with me for what's going to be one of those historic days in Welsh politics. You won't miss a thing. We'll have all the counts live. We'll be in your neck of the woods, your part of the country, and whether it's a yes or a no, we'll find out what it means for you and your family. Why don't we begin by telling you the story so far and the main headlines of what's happened so far today. There we are. 11 results are in so far, 22 counts in all, so you can see we're only halfway through the story, really. You're here just at the right time. So far, all have voted yes so far. That doesn't mean anything because the rest could be no. You just don't know. The biggest majority, 73% voted yes in Neath Port Talbot. The smallest majority, 52% voted yes in Powys. Now, use this with some caution. Have a look at this. This is just a few results. We haven't got the complete picture yet. 62% for yes, 38% for no. Average turnout, 33%. And it's just worth also looking here at the change from 1997, because that will give you an idea of the story of what's going on here today. It's a swing on the basis of the 1997 referendum figures of 14% to yes. Now, it's all happening. I'm being told that they're about to declare in Caerphilly. Let's go straight there live. This is the count in Caerphilly.
The number of ballot papers counted by me is 44,182. The number of votes cast in favour of yes is 28,431. The number of votes cast in favour of no is 15,751.
Fel swyddog cyfrif I fwrdeistref sirol Caerphilly, rwyf yn cyhoeddi fy mod wedi artistio'r canlynol i'r prif swyddog cyfrif. Y nifer o bleidleisiau.
So there we are. It's yes in Caerphilly. It's a very substantial majority. It's 12,680. The turnout is 35%, I should say. 64% for yes, 36% for no, and that is a substantial majority in Caerphilly. Let's just have a quick look at the swing on the basis of the 1997 devolution result, and it's a swing to yes of 10%. So you can start to see a pattern here. We are waiting next to go to the Vale of Glamorgan to see what voters have had to say in that neck of the woods. But that is the picture in Caerphilly. It's probably the Vale of Glamorgan next. So we'll take you there just as soon as we have word from there. Betsan Powys is with me in the studio, our political editor. And you're hearing news of a recount at one of the counts in Monmouthshire, is that right?
That's right. We've talked a lot about Monmouthshire, where it is very, very tight. I gather it's 49 to 51. There's
Sorry, Vale of Glamorgan are declaring yes, Betsan. I hate to cut across you, but here we go.
I've certified the following to the Chief Counting Officer. The number of ballot papers counted by me is 37,008. The number of votes cast in favour of yes is 19,430. And the number of votes cast in favour of no is 17,551. My colleague now will give the announcement in Welsh.
So it's yes in Vale of Glamorgan, and that's one of those interesting parts of the world as far as Westminster and Welsh politics go that's always worth a look at. And now look at these figures. This is really tight, isn't it? A majority of 1,800 really. Turnout 40%. That's a lot more respectable than we've seen in many other parts of the country. 52% for yes, 47% for no. Betsan Powys, our political editor, is just looking at these figures with me. Well, Who'd have thought, eh?
Oh, well, indeed, because last time we've talked a lot about Monmouthshire. Let me just finish that sentence and say it is so close. We've already talked about it. No are ahead, but the yes side have asked for a recount in Monmouthshire. Those were words I was not expecting to utter today, but the Vale of Glamorgan has voted yes, and last time was pretty close to Monmouthshire in the extent of the no vote.
Flintshire results. Let's go to get the Flintshire result now. Here we go.
The number of ballot papers counted by me is 34,067, 34067.
Y nifer o bapurau pleidleisio a gyfrifwyd gennyf yw 34,067.
The number of votes cast in favour of yes is 21,119, 21119.
Y nifer o bleidleisiau o blaid ie yw 21,119.
The number of votes cast in favour of no is 12,913, 12913.
So let me just give you those figures to have a look at. It's a yes in Flintshire. It's a majority of 8,206. The turnout 29 on that edge of Wales. It is a huge swing, isn't it? Why don't we look at the change based on the 1997 referendum figures? That's worth a quick look at, isn't it? There we are. It's a 24% swing. Those people who are excited about political swings will be foaming at the mouth looking at that one. A drop in turnout of 12%, but that is the result there in Flintshire. And we've had quite a few now, Bets and Powers, so let's talk through what we know so far. I just want to pick you up because I very rudely interrupted you when you were about to tell us there's a recount in Monmouthshire, did you say?
Yes, no, I think I have had a chance to let the nation know that there is a recount in Monmouthshire, but it's the yes camp that's asked for it. So clearly the no camp are ahead by that little bit, but close enough for the yes camp to think it's worth a recount. But that swing is remarkable, isn't it? 24% up in Flintshire. And I know you are steadfastly refusing to throw caution to the wind, and that's very professional of you. I don't know at which you are going to do that. But given the Vale of Glamorgan has announced, and given that we know the sorts of areas that are yet to announce, Ceredigion, Gwynedd, Carmarthenshire and so on, Rhondda and Taf, who else is left? I'm looking at those there now. Then we are all looking at Monmouthshire and asking, is it going to be the only part of Wales that is going to vote no, and then only just? And I really don't think that anybody, nor any of the four party leaders in all honesty, were really expecting this sort of, well, I lose that word again that somebody used earlier, rout.
Well, we'll head over to Monmouthshire just as soon as we can, because that's going to be very interesting indeed, and a lot of people will be watching that with enormous interest. All of these results are being watched by campaigners from the Yes and No campaign and people from all political parties and none. So why don't we just have a look at what's going on at that gathering here. I'm not going to call it a party because, there's no alcohol for a start, but it's a gathering of political types. It's a gathering of political sorts.
Very colour coordinated.
Very colour coordinated.
Colours.
They're glued to the telly basically, watching to see what's coming in, what's happening, trying to get an idea of the story. We should also make the point here, and if you're sitting at home wondering what's going on in terms of what looks like double counts, what's happening is there are 22 counts around the local authorities of Wales. You're seeing these counting officers. They're not called returning officers today. They don't... They're coming up onto stage, they're giving us the result locally in those local authority areas, and then it's announced in the Senedd there again. So that's why those people are there gathered and watching. We are only really halfway through the story. It's very clear that we've got many more counts to take you to on this glorious March day. I wish we were outside.
It's pretty nippy, I can tell you. It's sunny, but it's not warm.
Let's have a word from Reen now while we wait for our next count to come in.
Yeah, just really interesting patterns of results, really. Again, looking at the results that we have in now, is it 14, the count of seats that we have in now? These were the results in 97, and clearly a very different pattern this time round. No east-west split, as I mentioned. But let me look at just a few council areas in particular. I can tot up the scores so far if I do this and choose Conwy. And I'll choose Denbighshire, I'll choose Wrexham, and Newport. Interesting because they all voted no last time, but it's very, very clear that it's in those no voting areas that the swings towards yes are at their greatest. You're looking at 17, 18, 19, 20% swings towards the yes vote in those areas that voted heavily no last time. If we look at the result in 97, we can do the top 10 as we did earlier, or the bottom 10 if you like of yes voters. And here they are: Newport, Flintshire voted yes, Conwy voted yes this time, and as I say, with big, big swings, and that's making a difference to the overall results. We're looking at 60+% certainly for yes, and those no voting areas last time round playing a key part in that. Really big swings, Jamie.
Reen, thank you very much indeed. Well, it's just 5-2 now. Betsan Powers, just talk us through the choreography of what happens during the course of the afternoon. We now know there's a recount of some sort going on in Monmouth, but what can we expect over the coming hours?
Results coming in thick and fast now, as you say, announced locally and then again here. But at the end, they will get the final result announced by the Electoral Commissioner, who's the chief counting officer, if you like, in this instance today. I understand she's not a Welsh speaker and she hasn't been announcing each individual result in Welsh. Her colleague, who is a Welsh speaker from the Electoral Commissioner, has been doing that. But the final tally, the one that will be on television for years to come, then Jenny Watson, the Electoral Commissioner, is going to announce that both in Welsh and in English. And I think at that point that the Yes campaign will certainly be celebrating. There is talk of a party at the Wales Millennium Centre. There had been talk of the No campaign congregating at the Newbridge Rugby Club, which has become a bit of a home for them, I suppose, during this campaign. And then immediately we have a spring conference for the Conservative, we have the conference of the Welsh Liberal Democrats. Nick Clegg is in town. They all have party matters to think about.
Okay, now I said that there was something going on in Monmouth that we needed to know about, and there is a recount, we think, going on in Monmouth. So why don't we go there now and find out exactly what's going on and the extent of that recount in this very important part of the world that's been such a bellwether part of Wales over so many years. Our reporter Mark Hannaby is there. What's going on then?
Yes, Jamie, there's a recount of the bundles, which stops some way short of a full recount, but is an indication of just how close this result is looking. Apparently, the result that's been ratified by the counters here and also by Cardiff in due course had the Yes campaign at 49%, the No campaign at 51%, and there were a mere 446 votes in it. So understandably, that's why the Yes team here, in particular Hugh Edwards, the former Labour AM for Monmouth, and Janet Davis from Plaid Cymru, the former AM, have pushed for this initial semi-recount. I'm not entirely sure how long it's going to take, but it's underway at the moment.
How many votes are we talking about? What is the point of contention in Monmouth?
We're talking about 446 votes. 446 votes, which at the moment have the No vote winning. It does look as though this is a no result. The council are quite confident in their processes and in their counting, but understandably the Yes campaign, having come so close to overturning what was perceived as quite a large margin, are asking for a recount.
Mark Hannaby, thank you very much indeed in Monmouth. We will be straight back to you as soon as we have further developments. Let's go straight to Torvine, because I think we have a result in Torvine. Torvine, I think, can give us the count
counting officer for the County Borough of Torvine, I hereby give notice that I have certified the following to the Chief Counting Officer. The number of ballot papers counted by me is 23,375. The number of votes cast in favour of yes is 14,655. The number of votes cast in favour of no is 8,688.
Okay, well that's the result in Torvine. We'll get you the figures so you can have a look at those in just a few moments. And my apologies for cutting across the discussion about Monmouthshire. That's clearly a very interesting development that no one expected, but a recount in Monmouthshire, which could be an interesting dramatic twist in the course of the afternoon. I'm joined by our political editor, Betsan Powys. A quick thought, first of all, about Monmouth, and that sounds as if it's going to go down to the wire.
It does. I mean, 446 votes, and you heard Mark saying that they're pretty confident the figures are right. Now, they would say that, but there's a margin of error within which you are able, if things are that close, then you are allowed to ask for a recount, and the Yes camp have clearly decided that it's worth doing so.
It's a yes vote for Ceredigion. We're just hearing. I think we might be able to go there in just a few moments. And Bridgend, we're hearing, is about to tell us what's going on there. I think it's about to declare as well. I think we can go to Ceredigion. It's a yes in Ceredigion, and I'm hearing that it's a majority of 8,093. Turnout of 44%. Why don't we have a look at the change on the 1997 referendum? That's a swing to yes of 7%. But look at the change in turnout, a drop in 13%. So that's the result in Ceredigion.
Yn y referendum Cenedliad Cenedlaethol Cymru, 30 Fawrth 2011, roedd yn adystio troi hyn yn achos y nifer o bleidleisiau a gofnodwyd fel y ganlyn. As the counting officer appointed for the County Borough of Bridgend at the referendum under the National Assembly for Wales Referendum Order 2010, held on the 3rd of March 2011, I hereby certify that as respects the number of votes cast in the County Borough of Bridgend, y nifer o bapurau pleidleisiau y gyfrifwyd gennyf ydy 36,803.4. The number of ballot papers counted by me is 36,834. Y nifer o bleidleisiau o blaid ydy 25,063. Y nifer o bleidleisiau o blaid nac ydy 11,736. The number of votes cast in favour of yes is 25,063. The number of votes cast in favour of no is 11,736. Roedd y nifer o bapurau pleidleisiau ar wrthodwyd fel y ganlyn.
So the people of Bridgend have spoken with a resounding voice. It's a yes in Bridgend, and you can see the figures for you. 35% turnout, a majority of 13,327. It's yes, 25,063. No, they were 11,736. And let's just have a look at the change on the 1997 referendum. This is the swing. This is swing of 14% to yes. So that's the story in Bridgend. Our political editor, Betsan Powys, has been with me watching those figures come in. I want a no vote, simply for some variety.
I think you are going to get
My swingometer will explode if it keeps on swinging in that direction. It needs to go in the other direction, surely.
I think it looks as though you're going to get one in Monmouthshire. Bridgend, interesting, of course, because it is the First Minister's constituency, and he's been saying for some time that it's going to be 2-1, and indeed in his own patch, nearly down to the percentage point, he's right. That is what Bridgend has delivered. But if my maths is right, I still think Neath Port Talbot has delivered the highest yes. So Peter Haynes still hanging on in there. We'll see if he holds on to that crown in Neath Port Talbot. But a very clear yes in Bridgend.
Now, I don't want to shortchange viewers in Torvine, so I want them to have a look at the figures for Torvine. So here we go. It's a turnout of 33%, 63% for yes, 37% for no, and you'll see the majority there of 5,967 in Torvine, which is a pretty convincing result. The Yes campaign will be very pleased indeed with that. That's a 13% swing to yes, based on the 1997 referendum. Joining us in the studio is the leader of the Welsh Liberal Democrats, Kirsty Williams. Welcome. Can you bring us any fresh intelligence from the Liberal Democrats who are littered around the country advising you and informing you and twittering you and briefing you and texting you, I'm sure?
Well, just that Liberal Democrats across Wales are very, very pleased with the results that we've had this afternoon. In the areas where we're particularly strong, we've seen good yes votes. Indeed, in areas like Wrexham and in Powys, we've been able to change no votes from the referendum last time round into positive yes votes. And this is the culmination for Liberal Democrats over 100 years of campaigning. Our forefathers wanted a Parliament for Wales, and so to be here today and to be able to see these lawmaking powers given to the National Assembly by the people of Wales, it's a great day.
Presumably you won't take much heart, however, or celebrate the low turnouts in many of the counts that we've seen already. Okay, we haven't seen all of them, but we've seen many of them, and in some places we're looking at 28% and 29%. That ain't good for democracy, and it ain't good for politicians like you.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think that there is a particular message here for all politicians, especially as we approach the May elections, about what we need to do to engage better with the population in Wales. And it's especially a problem, I think, for the Welsh Assembly Government. Certainly a lot of the issues that I heard on the doorstep were we're not convinced about what the Welsh Assembly Government has done for us, and therefore do we need to go out and give them extra powers. I'm pleased that they've been able to convince them to do that, but it is a wake-up call for all politicians, and particularly the Welsh Assembly Government. We need to deliver now. We can't use the excuse of not enough power to not deliver for the people of Wales in the next 4 years.
Presumably not all Liberal Democrats will be celebrating today, because we're hearing that it hasn't been a terribly good day in the Barnsley by-election. Can you bring us any further news on that?
Well, no, I can't. Unfortunately for me, I've been tied up in the referendum and I haven't been to Barnsley.
Well, I think we all know what happened, do we? And I think we all know it was a disaster for the Liberal Democrats.
We've had, my colleagues in England have had a kicking in Barnsley last night, although why people think it's such a surprise, I do not know. If you look at the past electoral record,
let me tell you that your Liberal Democrat candidate lost his deposit.
He came in behind the BNP, and in Riverside in Cardiff, you're behind the Greens.
We had a kicking, my colleagues in England had a kicking yesterday in Barnsley, but let's face it, this is an area we don't have a single councillor. This is an area where we have not got the people on the ground to deliver a strong campaign. And if you look at the European results, we were in 5th place at the European level. So it's not a surprise.
You're behind UKIP and the BNP. It's a hopeless performance.
We were behind the BNP, the UKIP and the BNP in the Euro election results just a couple of years ago.
I mean, it is bad news, isn't it?
I'm not pretending.
And if you look at some of these polls that companies have been doing, and they've been pretty accurate as far as today's result is concerned. And in the background information there was, and by the way, what is your party affiliation? And you can only use that to a certain extent, granted. But if you do look at those, then the number of people who now say that they intend to vote Liberal Democrat has really got very, very low. And some people working through the maths and saying, gosh, will you have Assembly members after May?
I think that we will definitely have Assembly members after May, because what this election in May will be about is a judgment on the performance of Labour and Plaid over the last 4 years. And anybody who has a child in school, who's had a relative in hospital, who have lost their jobs, realise that the Welsh Assembly Government over the last 4 years has not performed. And it's not going to get any better unless we see a change in that Assembly. And the Liberal Democrats are putting forward clear proposals to invest in our education system, to get people back to work, to stop the spending on bureaucracy in the health service and treat people better, and people are very receptive to that message.
We're into a campaign, a different campaign, I think, already, aren't we?
Nick Clegg is in town tonight, is he not? Is he not your guest in Cardiff?
Yes,
will you be commiserating with him or celebrating? Will it be...
I'll be celebrating tonight because we've had a great result in this referendum, a referendum that was made possible by my Liberal Democrat colleagues in London, ensuring that this referendum took place. And for us tonight as Liberals and as Liberal Democrats, this is the culmination of 100 years of campaigning, and that's a lot to celebrate, on top of the good news this week about the electrification of the railway line, and the announcement today that finally, after a vote here in 2000 that said we wanted to make St David's Day a bank holiday, we've been able now to be able to have a consultation and to give the powers to our Assembly members to do just that. So it's lots to celebrate today in Cardiff.
We believe you.
Yes.
We think.
Kirsty Williams, thank you very much indeed. We'll let you go and buy the balloons and the cakes for Nick Clegg's arrival later on today. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Bets and Powers, where are we now? We're about 10 past 2. We've got a good old load of a good handful of results to come in. We've got 5 more results to come in. We think we're going to go to Carnarvon in about 5 minutes or so. So as soon as we get that result, we'll take you to it. Why don't we have a quick word with Reen, who's been waiting patiently here?
Just looking for patterns is what I'm doing all day, and one thing I've been trying to compare is urban versus rural Wales. We have a fair few results in by now, so I've been totting up some of the urban and rural results that we have. OK, here's a selection of rural parts of Wales. Ynys Môn, Denbighshire, Powys, Ceredigion. We'll bring Pembrokeshire in there, and why not the Vale of Glamorgan as well? 57% yes. I mean, what's your guess, Jamie? Urban versus rural, which is strongest yes, traditionally?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is going in a completely different direction to what I expected in terms of all sorts of things at the moment.
So it's 57% in rural Wales. Let's pick a few urban seats. We'll pick on Newport, we'll pick on Swansea, we'll take a few up in the northeast of Wales as well. Urban Wales is voting stronger at the moment for yes in this referendum, which perhaps is contrary to popular opinion. That's not rural Welsh-speaking Wales. When we get the results from Carmarthenshire and Gwynedd, I'm sure that'll change. But it's interesting, isn't it?
It is interesting. And, Reen, thank you very much indeed. We'll come back to you in just a few moments. And we'll also come back to our political editor, Betsan Powers, for which much thanks indeed. And we'll also be going over to the remaining 5 or so counts who have yet to announce, not declare, don't forget. You don't declare on referendum day. Throughout the course of the morning, campaigners who've spent the last month beating the pavements of every part of Wales have been heading back to what presumably will be a gathering here of all political parties. They're gathering in the building behind me to watch the results come in. So why don't we cross over there now to the Senedd and join our reporter, Bethan Lewis.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Yes, I'm joined by 2 campaigners, one from each side of the argument. Darren Hill from the Yes for Wales campaign, David Bevan from UKIP, who's been campaigning for a no vote. Darren Hill, very happy but exhausted, I imagine.
It's been a gruelling few months, not just for me and some of the other central campaigners, but for thousands of campaigners up and down the country. We ran a campaign that was based on empowering people locally to take the message out there, to get actively involved in this campaign, and that happened right across Wales, but also empowering the electorate. What we really wanted to do was to bring Wales together through this campaign, and we've been vindicated today with the results that we're seeing coming in from every part of Wales. Wales has come together.
David Bevan, Wales has come together. The Yes campaign vindicated, a failure for the No campaign?
Hardly vindicated. 2/3 of the Welsh people have decided that it wasn't worth voting in this referendum. I can understand why. They don't feel it's important, but I disagree with them. I think it's very important. This referendum is one more salami slice towards separatism. And the UK Independence Party, United Kingdom, we stand to keep it united.
OK, I'll have to leave it there. We've got a declaration coming in. Back to you now, Jamie.
Bethan, I'm sorry to cut you short, but I want to take you straight away to Carmarthen because we can hear the result from Carmarthen. So let's hear the result there now.
Cymru a gynhaliwyd trydydd Mawrth 2010. Fel swyddog, cyfrif I Sir Ga, roedd yn cyhoeddi fy mod wedi a dystiwr canlynol i'r prif swyddog cyfrif. O nifer o bapurau pleidleisio a gyfrifwyd gennyf yw 60,691. Y nifer o bleidleisiau o blaid ydw yw 42,979.
Well, it's a yes for Carmarthenshire by a substantial majority. You can see the results in just a few moments. It's a majority of 25,000. It's 71% for yes, 29% for no. The turnout 44. That's much more healthy, isn't it, than some of the other turnouts we've seen during the course of the morning that have been 28 or 29%. So that's the Carmarthenshire result. It's worth just having a quick look at the swing. This is the change in voting since 1997's referendum, and there you are. You can see it for yourself. It's a 6% change to yes. So Carmarthenshire says yes by a very robust majority. 4 more to go. I think it's 4 more. Anyway, we'll come to the next count in just a few moments. They're all coming in pretty quick now. Let's turn to our political editor, Betsan Powys, Carmarthenshire, Betsan Powys, and a yes. No real surprise there.
No,
really.
But how different is the story today to 1997? Back then I was sitting almost within arm's reach of the facts that came through from Carmarthenshire. I almost wished I'd stretched out and got it so that we would have known the result early. Of course, turned everything. Today, Carmarthenshire joins the rest of Wales, essentially, other than Monmouthshire at this point, in voting yes.
Professor Roger Scully is with me, the distinguished academic, splendid fellow, and has been watching all of this coming in. We're just hearing that you must forgive me if I interrupt you. I'm not being rude, but we're about to go in just a few moments to another count, so forgive me. It's Rhondda Cynon Taf. In a moment, they're getting ready, we understand, so we might just nip over there in just a few moments. Has this surprised you? Were you expecting this to turn out the way it has?
It's very much in line with what the polls have been showing. I suppose, as Betsan was saying earlier, we didn't all quite believe the polls, but actually, the pollsters, I suppose, are the other big winners of this referendum.
Roger, I'm going to cut across you because Rhondda Cynon Taf are about to give us the result from there. Let's hear it.
As being the counting officer for the county borough of Rhondda Cynon Taf, I hereby give notice that I have certified the following to the Chief Counting Officer. The number of ballot papers counted by me is 60,963. The number of votes cast in favour of yes is 43,051. The number of votes cast in favour of no is 17,834. Thank you.
Well, it's yes in Rhondda Cynon Taf. Look at that, it's 70% for yes. Let's have a look at the hard figures. This is a substantial majority for yes. It's 25,217, 43,051 for yes, 17,834 for no. The turnout is 34%. Why don't we have a look at the swing as well? This is the change on the 1997 referendum, and it's 12% swing to yes, Betsan Powys.
Yes, and with Rhondda Cynon Taf, you all saw that news flash up on screen. You may now throw caution to the wind. The maths has automatically triggered that message that says that is it. Wales has voted yes. So that's it. I mean, we've been going that way for many hours now, but that is it. It's Rhondda Cynon Taf that has triggered the figures they needed. We have certainly voted yes.
And the people you're seeing on your screen now, or were just a few moments ago, are the campaigners applauding the news that the mathematics now means at 14:17 that Wales has pretty much voted yes in this referendum. We still have a few more counts to come, but in terms of the mathematics of today's story, that means it is a yes for Wales. And Rena's here and has been watching those results come in. Well, we're there early.
Yeah, interesting. Carmarthenshire not the county that tipped the balance this time round, but you've got to give the yes campaigners there some credit. I suppose they're the ones that were the first to reach the 70% yes margin, and obviously the yes campaigners in Carmarthenshire will be very pleased. But also, I'm sure Rhondda Cynon Taf has played a very important part in the story of devolution. If we look at the results from 1997 and the top-ranking yes voting areas of Wales back then, well, Rhondda Cynon Taf was among those areas that voted yes heavily, and also because it's one of the largest council areas in Wales, has one of the largest populations, it also plays a huge part in delivering that vote. So, Jamie, very crucial and quite apt results for the yes campaign, really. Carmarthenshire and Rhondda Cynon Taf taking over the winning line.
Rhyn, thank you very much. We still have those remaining results to come in, and you'll see it all live here on BBC Wales on 1. So stay with us for the remaining counts. We'll bring them to you as they happen, and we'll also be talking now to the main players in the yes and no camp. We're going to be talking to the leaders of both yes and no in the next 50 minutes or so. Betsan Powys, our political editor, is here, so too Professor Roger Scully. Betsan, it is a significant moment in the whole of this day. Wales says yes.
Yes, and I think we heard the presiding officer saying earlier, and I think I indicated right at the very beginning of when counting started, that we would be talking about turnout, perhaps less than we'd anticipated. We'd been talking about the extent to the margin by which Yes looked as if they were about to take it. We'd be talking about the complexities of the issues that people have been discussing. But I think, we have to look at what this means. What this means now is that in the UK, in Wales, in Scotland, in Northern Ireland, and of course in England, you now have 4 legislators that have primary law-making powers. Nobody has to ask anybody else about anything in the areas that are devolved in Wales. Of course, not all areas are devolved, but in the ones that are, they can now go ahead and possibly make some very fundamental changes. That means, that jigsaw that is the UK. This is a big story, not just here in Wales, but in the part we now play in the UK and its constitution. Kim Howells talked to me about it as flaking away at the constitution. That's how he saw it. Clearly, Yes campaigners will see it, as did David Ellis-Thomas. Job done was what he called it.
I was interested earlier on to hear the No campaign being interviewed and considering the possibility that the No campaign would lose today and what would then happen to the No campaign, and the suggestion, the very clear message that this isn't the end of the road for the No campaign and their opposition to what they've campaigned against.
Yes, I'm not sure how that is going to work. I mean, there really were a handful of very hard-working campaigners for a no vote, and they were very much in the south-east of Wales, and they didn't always, it has to be said, agree with each other. I mean, some were more gung-ho, frankly wanted to get rid of the Assembly and wanted to say so. Others thinking that that wasn't the way to go. There were people up in the northeast as well, but we didn't see very much of them, and when you'd ring the No campaign and ask, what's happening today? It was always leafleting in the southeast. I'm sure they will want to think now what they would like to carry on doing. Len Gibbs had said, I'm going to push for a UKIP vote in May. I mean, I'm not really sure how they're going to deliver a strong voice, really, now that this very clear victory has been gained by the Yes camp.
Well, a ripple went round the Senedd just a few moments ago as the Yes campaigners burst into applause as they heard the news that the mathematics of the votes that are in so far mean that it is a yes for Wales. And you can see people jumping around and hopping around, and obviously relieved, but certainly for those who've spent months and months working on their campaign, and a few glum faces from the No campaign who perhaps in their hearts knew early this morning after reading the opinion polls that the odds were stacked against their campaign. But for them, the end of the road here today. Roger Scully, I just wonder, you're just looking at pictures of lots and lots of political wonks, professional politicians and people who work in politics, civil servants and academics as well. Back in the real world, of people who don't live in this weird little bubble of politics, what does today really mean?
For many people, immediately will mean not a great deal. They may well look at the news this evening and notice that this has happened. What it may mean in 5 or 10 years' time, however, is a great deal of difference to their daily lives, to the schools that their children go to the hospitals that they maybe depend on for treatment, to many of the other areas that are under the power of the National Assembly in which now laws can be passed. Exactly what it will mean, we can't say. That will largely depend on the elections in May and future elections to the National Assembly and what the Assembly governments decide to do with those powers.
I'm going straight to Monmouthshire because the count is coming through there.
Is 25,108. The number of votes cast in favour of yes is 12,381. The number of votes cast in favour of no is 12,701. The number of ballot papers rejected and the reasons for rejection are as follows. Voting for both answers to the question asked, 3. Writing or marking the paper in a way that we could identify the voter, 1. Other unmarked or void due to uncertainty, 22, a total of 26 rejections. The total number of votes recorded represented 35.8% of the registered electors. I'll now ask my colleague, Mr. Robert Webb, to repeat the declaration in Welsh. Thank you.
So there we are. That's the declaration in Monmouth, which will be repeated in Welsh now.
So it's down to 320 votes then, according to the mathematicians' maths, not my own.
We're just frantically crunching our maths here to work out exactly what has happened in Monmouthshire.
It's a no vote, it looks like, by 320 votes.
Very narrowly.
Just to repeat, there was a recount in Monmouthshire earlier on, and the figures again were...
well, we think it's a no vote by 320 votes. I don't think anybody would have expected that to be so close.
It is a no vote
it's a no
in
by
Monmouthshire.
320.
There we are. A no vote in Monmouthshire. We'll have a look at the figures, the hard figures now as they come through. There we are. A majority, a wafer-thin majority of 320. The turnout, 35%. At 12,381 for yes, on 49%. 51% for no. 12,701. We'll have a quick look at the change on the 1997 results, and it's a swing to yes of 17%. So there we are, the Monmouthshire results, which we've been waiting for. We're going to go back to the Senedd now, because there are celebrations taking place there. The First Minister, Carwyn Jones, the leader of Welsh Labour, is being clapped as he enters the Senedd, as far as he's concerned, and his colleagues.
Yeah, Iwan Jones there, of course, as well. So there's the party cooperation for you, the two leaders together. And Roger Lewis is there, of course, who led the Yes campaign, the man who kept reminding everybody that he was not a politician. A very important point to make, though I have to admit, many people who met him thought he was. They thought he looked like a politician, they thought he sounded like a politician, but he always made it entirely clear that he wasn't, that wasn't the reason why he was leading this campaign.
A great deal of relief on their faces. Their faces say it all, don't they? Iwan Jones and Carwyn Jones. You can tell those broad smiles and a sense of relief that it's all over. I sense that those smiles will be short-lived because, of course, after today they'll be launching full scale into an election campaign.
They will, and actually there on the left I see Gwenllian Lansdowne, who was former Plaid's chief executive, who was standing down and leaving her seat on the council in Riverside, and we've been talking about by-elections in Barnsley. Well, Plaid has lost that to Labour on the council, a big swing to Labour. That's where the Liberal Democrats came in behind the Greens. So all that sort of thing, you know, the news is coming in on that sort of thing thick and fast. You heard Kirsty Williams saying in the Liberal Democrat areas we've got a big yes vote. Labour and Plaid also, it's in their areas they're claiming that there is a big yes vote. They will all move immediately now into election mode. I've no doubt about that.
I think we're about to hear that we're going to hear from Gwynedd, yet to declare there. We have just a few more counts to come in, so we're going to head over to there in just a few moments. Not yet, just a few more moments. We're nearly there. Rena Pyorwith is here, who's been watching these figures go through.
Yeah, just interesting looking at the figures coming out. I've got a good friend from Neathport Talbot, by the way. He'll never forgive me if for saying that Carmarthenshire was the first to pass the 70% mark. Yes, but Neathport Talbot was there early. But let's have a look at the top 10 again of results. Yes votes. I'll start in 1997, and that's the list. Neathport Talbot, Carmarthenshire, Gwynedd, Ceredigion, Rhondda Taff. Look at the results in 2011. These are the areas that voted strongest for a yes. Neathport Talbot, Rhondda Taff, I'll jump over Carmarthenshire, Blaenau Gwent, Merthyr Tydfil, Bridgend, all South Wales Valley's local authorities. And that is going to give Labour a lot of cause for celebration, in that they delivered that vote in those areas.
Green, thank you very much. We've just got 2 counts left to go now. I'm going to take you to Gwynedd in just a few moments, so we're coming there very shortly. Why don't we go to Cardiff first of all, because Nick Savini is waiting to talk to us there. Any sign of news, Nick? What have you got for us?
Jamie, there's a bit of a lull at the moment. I don't know if you can see behind me, the counting has stopped, but there are a number of earnest-looking faces. They look as if they're double-checking things, talking to each other. We don't know exactly what has happened. We've been expecting a result any time now for about the past 20 minutes or so, but for whatever reason, it hasn't come forward. And as I said, there's a lot of discussions going through floor there. They've got a lot of votes to count here, 1,000, which would be the highest of all the counts in turnout of 31%. While we've been waiting, I've been speaking to some of the Yes campaigners, and certainly they are feeling pretty confident about this result.
OK, Nick Savini, thank you very much indeed for that. We'll come straight back to you as soon as you have further news of a result. And of course, we're going to be heading over to Gwynedd as well. With the time approaching 2:30, we're going to head over to the newsroom in just a couple of minutes to get the main headlines. But we will bring you those two remaining results just as soon as we get them. And of course, we'll be speaking to all of the campaigners from the Yes and the No campaign. But for the moment, let's catch up with the news headlines.
Good afternoon. The Yes campaign have won in the referendum on more powers for the National Assembly. 20 out of 22 constituencies have already reported their results, all of them apart from one so far in favour of a Yes vote. Blaenau Gwent was the first to declare just before midday, with the Vale of Glamorgan declaring a narrow Yes vote of 52.5%.
The number of votes cast in favour of Yes is 19,430. and the number of votes cast in favour of No is 17,551.
Powys has produced the closest results so far, with around 1,300 votes in it. There was a recount in Monmouthshire as the results there were just too close to call, and they've come back with a no vote. The MP for Torfaen, an area where almost 2/3 voted yes, says people's attitudes to the Assembly have changed.
So there's been a big shift of opinion over the years, particularly here in Torfaen. I think myself that's a consequence of this is a Labour constituency, there's a Conservative government in London. People like me think that the Assembly has to have these powers in order to protect Wales, in order to ensure that we concentrate on the big issues of education and health and local government and roads and so on, which will now face us in the forthcoming election for the Assembly.
So far, only one county, Monmouthshire, has declared a no vote. At the moment, it seems that around 2/3 of people have voted in favour of more lawmaking powers for the National Assembly. In Wrexham, just over 64% voted yes. In Newport, it was closer, with 55% saying yes. The Chief Counting Officer has now announced that the provisional turnout was 35.2%. And that is it for now. I'll be back in an hour at 3:30. Plenty of reaction to the referendum throughout the afternoon, so stay with us here on BBC One Wales.
A very warm welcome back to Cardiff Bay. It's 2:32, and if you're just joining us here on BBC One Wales, let me tell you that the mathematics of today's votes being counted in 22 counts all around the country mean that it's a yes for Wales. That's the result that's been announced in the last few minutes. We have two more counts for you coming up in the next 20 minutes or so. We're hoping to hear from Cardiff and Gwynedd, the two remaining counts, but you'll see that the main players from the Yes campaign and the No campaign are gathering in the Senedd and shaking hands and cheering as they've been watching the results coming in during the last hour or so. It's a yes, and politicians from all political colours have been changing and exchanging greetings. We're going to take you to Gwynedd straight away now, because I think that we can get the results in Gwynedd. Here's Carnarvon.
Of results for the National Assembly for Wales referendum held on the 3rd of March 2011. Fel swyddog cyfri i Sir Gwynedd, rwyf yn cyhoeddi fy mod wedi ardystio'r canlynol i'r Prif Swyddog Cyfrif. I, being the Counting Officer for the County of Gwynedd, do hereby give notice that I have certified the following to the Chief Counting Officer. Y nifer o bapurau pleidleisio a gyfrifwyd gennyf yw 37,132. The number of ballot papers counted by me is 37,132. Y nifer o bleidleisiau o blaid ydw yw 28,200. The number of votes cast in favour of yes is 28,200. Y nifer o bleidleisiau o blaid nac ydw yw 8,891. The number of votes cast in favour of no is 8,891.
So it's a yes in Gwynedd and a 76% yes vote, 24% no. Let's look at the hard figures. The majority, just doing my sums quickly, are 19,300 odd. That's 76% for yes, 24% for no. The turnout is 43%, which is one of the more healthy turnouts that we've seen during the course of the day. If you're just joining us, we've been watching some turnouts along the lines of 28% and 29%, which have failed to get to that magic 3-0. At least that figure on turnout starts with 4 in Gwynedd. That's the result in Gwynedd. We are still waiting for Cardiff. So we're going to head over to Cardiff's count just a little bit later. In the meantime, I'm joined by Jane Davidson, the Labour AM, who's retiring Labour AM, I should say, and also Professor Roger Scully, who's been watching the results come in with me. You're fresh from the Labour jollities, are you? I mean, the mood in the camp must be pretty good.
The mood in the camp is incredibly good because, I mean, Labour has been the largest party in Wales for many years, and the fact that the Labour came out absolutely behind this referendum means that, in a sense, I suppose, we provided the engine room for the delivery, and all parties have played their part, and they've all brought out their own voters, and we've seen some fantastic swings across Wales, absolutely, definitively in favour of the yes vote today.
Roger's had his calculator out, he's been writing furiously because you've been going through these figures. There are some interesting things emerging, aren't there?
A lot of interesting things that will keep people like me amused for a long time. One of them is that, I mean, in 97, as Queen was talking about earlier, Wales was very much a country divided, and there were big gaps between the highest and lowest yes percentage share of the vote, around at 35%. This time round, it's significantly smaller. The gap between the highest and lowest is about 25-26%. There were still some differences, but they've reduced in scale quite noticeably.
Just a quick word here from Reen and your thoughts about the usual divides that we expect to see in terms of urban and rural, north and south, Welsh-speaking and English-speaking as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the divides have gone, and what you're seeing, and it's very interesting, is that the swings are very similar across Wales. Yes, there have been drops in turnouts, but the drops in turnouts are very similar across Wales. Let me just mention just a couple of swings that are worth looking at. Denbighshire, I think, still is the biggest swing towards yes. The swing there since 97. A whopping 21%, and that is typical of what's happened in other places too, in that the biggest swings have been in the areas that did vote no last time. One that is worth mentioning is Bridgend too, which of course is the home of the First Minister Carwyn Jones, and Bridgend, from my calculations, with a swing in an already yes voting area, of 14% towards yes again this time. I'm sure Carwyn Jones and his effect will have had an impact on that result in Bridgend. It's worth pointing out, I think.
Yeah, Reen, thank you very much indeed for that. Now, we still haven't had that Cardiff count, so we are going to head over there in just a few moments. We're also going to go to Swansea Market to see what shoppers there have made of today's events. Many of them are getting on with their lives rather than bothering with all this referendum lark. But let's just pick up a couple of those points with Roger and Jane Davidson. There are an awful lot of people watching this, of course, who didn't vote. I mean, you're not sitting on top of a 60% turnout today, and that's sad for politicians like you, of all political colours.
Well, I think what is interesting is that the Mayor of London was elected with around 35% of Londoners' vote, and nobody's ever questioned the legitimacy of that result. Remember that every single person in Wales had the chance to go to the polls yesterday, and it was a simple question in terms of yes or no. And the people of Wales have voted very substantially in favour of yes. Even in Monmouthshire, the only county to vote no, we're talking about a 17% swing in favour of the yes vote. I mean, these are quite phenomenal results considering how youthful that the Assembly still is as an institution.
They're not phenomenal, but they're better than expected.
I think they're better than a great many politicians feared they would be. And yes, this is a clear and decisive yes, certainly amongst those who voted. It's very nearly 2-1. I mean, depending on how Cardiff votes, it may push up closer towards 2-1.
Now we're going to go to Cardiff a little later, but first of all, why don't we head to Swansea, where it's been a busy day in Swansea. I think the market is still in full swing at this stage of the afternoon. So let's go from Cardiff Bay to Swansea to see what shoppers and stallholders make of this referendum and its results.
Business as usual here, Jamie. I'm yet to hear rapturous applause or sighs of disbelief having heard the results. Swansea voted yes, but here's one of the people, one of the 22,000 people who voted no. It's a yes for Wales, Linda Colley, but an oh no from you, I'm sure.
It is a no-no from me, yes. I'm disappointed.
Why is that?
Mainly because I think that the Assembly has too much power. I'm afraid of what they're going to do now that they've got all of this power, which was why I preferred to think that at least the government in London had some say in what we did here to make sure it was fair.
But let's be honest, what difference will this make to your customers, your business here on the shop floor in Swansea Market?
On the shop floor in Swansea Market, it wouldn't make a great deal of difference, I wouldn't imagine, but it's the wider picture. It's what will happen to the rest of our lives. Now that they've got this power, how will they use the power?
It seems to me that you don't trust the politicians in Cardiff Bay.
Is that coming over quite... I perhaps might have disguised that a bit better than I have, but no, I don't trust them, which is why I voted no.
Are you surprised that the Yes campaign seems to have won quite comfortably?
To be honest with you, I didn't actually hear a great deal of the campaign down here. So maybe that's why there are more yes than no's, because the no campaign didn't really seem to mount a very vigorous campaign.
So you didn't get too much information then?
No, I didn't, to be truthful with you. I made my decision based on what I hear coming down from Cardiff, and I'm afraid sometimes I don't like what I hear, and that's why I voted no.
Is this a Swansea-Cardiff thing then?
Well, it's possible. Yes, I think it might. No, it's not, to be truthful, it isn't. It's just, I just don't trust them. I think once they get a lot of power, what are they going to do with it? Is it going to be for our benefit?
Linda, thank you very much. Let's take a walk over here to see the other side of the coin in Swansea Market. Paul Oliver here, busy serving customers, was one who voted yes. Ladies, gents, would you mind if I cut across briefly while you're deciding which cheese to buy today? Paul, you voted yes.
I did, yes.
With your leak on your chest yesterday. Why was that?
Because I think it's becoming more and more apparent that the people in Wales have a different emphasis on the way that they want their money spent to England. And voting yes, giving more powers to the Assembly will facilitate that.
I'll ask you the same question as I asked Linda across the road there. What difference, truthfully, will this make to your customers and business here in Swansea Market?
Probably not a huge difference to the business. I mean, it's
so why are you so worried?
I'm not worried. I just think that it's a fantastic thing for Wales. I think it's really good that we should have more power to spend the money that we're allocated in the way that we want, rather than to be any kind of veto on the way that the money is spent in Wales.
And will you now be happy with a situation that we find ourselves in, or will you be looking in a few months, a few years' time for even more, greater powers?
I would hope that we'd have even more powers in the future.
But that brings the fear of life into those who voted no.
I think the people who voted no, I don't know. It was so badly publicised and so badly, the whole campaign was done in such a bad way mostly by the people who wanted to vote no, that I don't think people really have a huge idea of what it's mean for them or what it would mean for them.
And that disappoints you, does it?
And that disappoints me, yes. Yeah. I would much rather there been a much bigger turnout, and so that to have been a decisive, so that the no campaign couldn't possibly have said, because there's a low turnout, that means people are indecisive. I don't think that's what it really means. I think they just didn't vote because there was no publicity and no real idea of what the whole situation was about.
Paul, thanks very much. Back to business. Contrasting views in Swansea Market.
Roderick Llewellyn in Swansea, thank you very much. Don't forget to buy your tea on the way home. That's the picture there in Swansea Market. Now, I'm joined now by the veteran political commentator, Rod Richards. We'll have a word with him in just a few moments. Jane Davidson from Labour is still here. We'll have a word with her too in just a few moments. We're also going to hear from Cardiff, hopefully a result in Cardiff, the last remaining count. We're going to give that to you live as it happens. We'll take you there in just a few moments. we're in the Senedd here. This is Rodri Morgan, who's obviously having two conversations, probably on the road, on the phone to his bookmaker, probably, who knows. And Roger Lewis there, the leader of the Yes campaign, a gathering there of both Yes and No campaigners who've been watching and waiting during the course of the day to see how this story would turn out. And if you're just joining us, the story is quite simply that Wales has voted yes to more powers by quite a substantial majority. We've got one more result to tell you about, and that is Cardiff, and we're going to give you that just as soon as we get it. But it's not going to change anything, really. The turnout, 35%, and mathematically, the target that had to be reached was 402,567 in order for it to be a yes. We're well over that now. So we'll give you the Cardiff result in just a few moments as Rodri Morgan and Roger Lewis exchange pleasantries in the Senedd. Carwyn Jones there as well now, also sharing in congratulations. Two First Ministers, a former First Minister and the current First Minister, and the Chief Executive of the Welsh Rugby Union, who took on additional responsibilities to lead the Yes campaign in this devolution vote. They'll be talking to many journalists and people from the press over the next hour or so, not just from Wales, but all over the UK. And if you're just joining us now, why don't we update you on the main story and the main headlines as we've got a few moments before we cross over to Monmouthshire. We're going to have a word with our reporter in Monmouthshire, but this is the story so far after 21 results. Cardiff to go. It's 64% for yes, 36% for no. And you'll see that target there. That was the mathematical trigger that made today a yes. The turnout, 35%. And the change on the 1997 referendum is a swing of 13% to yes. Now, the smallest turnout was in Wrexham at 27%. Newport wasn't much better with the turnout at 28%, and neither was Flintshire at 29%. The political commentators and the politicians have been talking about this magic 30. They said that would be perhaps a respectable figure. Not sure what you think, but three of those counts didn't get to that magic figure of 30 they were talking about. We have seen the other end of the scale, of course. There have been bigger turnouts. This is the biggest yes vote. It's 76% in Gwynedd. Neath Port Talbot saw 73%. And you can see the rest of the figures there. The regional results. So a couple of things to chew over there. Why don't we cross over now to Monmouthshire? It's been very dramatic in Monmouthshire because Monmouthshire has voted no. We can go over now to our reporter Mark Hannaby, who's been watching with great interest the counting of the results in Monmouthshire. And Mark, what are people there saying to you?
Well, I think people are flabbergasted, really, Jamie. Let's face it, the Yes campaign had great hopes in Monmouthshire, but given the perceived gulf they had to cross, I don't think they thought they were going to get as close as they did. 320 votes in it in the end. One man who could tell me exactly what they were thinking is the chair of Yes for Monmouthshire, the former Labour MP for Monmouth, Hugh Edwards. Mr. Edwards, you must be tremendously disappointed having come so close.
Well, I'm a bit disappointed, but, you know, we've had something like 17% swing. Nobody would have thought that Monmouthshire would be a recount county. And, you know, we had a good campaign. We had people from not 4 but 5 parties involved here. I give credit to Nick Ramsey, the Conservative Assembly member, who really stood up with courage, argue the case for a yes vote, but people did it without any differences amongst parties whatsoever. And what we found was when you talk to people about what precisely this referendum question was about, they thought, there's no doubt about it, we've got to say yes. But I think there was a lot of sort of nonsense about things which were totally irrelevant, a lot of inaccuracy, a lot of irrelevance, issues raised which would be more suited for the Assembly elections in 2 months' time. But when we had a public meeting in Usk, I think the waverers went away thinking, we'll vote yes. We would have had more of those public meetings if there had been more no spokespeople from Monmouth who could have actually got up and said what they believed.
Well, you told me just a couple of days ago, you referred back to 97, you said it was 1 in 3 then who were in favour of devolution. You said if you got to 1 in 2 in favour of this vote now, you'd feel you'd done quite a good job. You went quite a lot further than that. Did you ever anticipate that you could have come so close? Did you actually feel you could have won?
Well, I actually did believe that we could get a yes vote in a slight majority. Yes, it would never have been more than that. It would have been a miracle. All right, we were 1.3% behind. But, what matters is that there's an overwhelming yes vote throughout the whole of Wales. When people realise that, let's take people with mental health problems. Is it going to take 3 years to pass legislation or 1 year? When people know the real facts, they supported the Yes campaign, and this will allow the Assembly in the future to not have to seek clearances in Whitehall and Westminster, which can take 18 months, 2 years, before they can introduce a law. They can introduce a law now on what is devolved, and that is good.
You asked for a recount of the bundles. You didn't ask for a full recount. Why not?
Well, the difference at first was about 460, and I think I've been through a few of these parliamentary elections in this room before now, and I just thought it was only fair to ask for, there was a slight difference. There was one bundle in the wrong bunch, and that worked in our favour. But after that, I think it was, reasonable to accept the result.
One more question. What do you think was the key ingredient in your coming so close? Was it, obviously your own campaign was important, but you indicated to me before that you felt there was something lacking on the other side.
Well, I would have liked to have had some spokespeople from the No campaign actually get up and speak about it. I would have liked to have had more public debates with the No campaign, because I think when people hear both arguments, I think they tended to come down in favour of the Yes campaign.
And indeed, the local MP here, well known as an anti-devolutionist, or at least on this vote, didn't really take part in the debate. David Davis.
Well, it seemed to me rather ironic that if we were to keep the present system, where David's committee, the Welsh Affairs Committee, has to scrutinise all the ELCOs, why no members of that committee were part of the No campaign. That struck me as rather odd. And I think if other people were part of the No campaign, perhaps they should have come out 3 months ago, rather than yesterday.
Well, it's all gone behind us now, but thank you very much for joining me at this time when I know you're disappointed here, but not in general. Hugh Edwards, thank you very much. Back to you now, Jamie.
OK, Mark Hannaby, thank you very much indeed. I'm just showing you pictures now of the count from Cardiff. We're still waiting for Cardiff. We've had all the other counts, but Cardiff has yet to tell us how the people of Cardiff voted. We're not sure why they're last. But as soon as we have a result from Cardiff, we will take you there. You can see everyone seems to be, I was about to say flat out counting, but they've stopped, haven't they? I'm just trying to look very, very hard. There's big piles at the top tables. It's quite difficult to work out. Yeah, the counting is done, but I'm not really sure. Well, anyway, they're all sitting around, aren't they? All standing around. Anyway, we'll be back in Cardiff in just a few moments. I'm sure they'll tell us when they're ready. We'll be back in Cardiff in just a few moments. Now, if you've just switched on BBC One, hoping for Escape to the Country and a property search in Norfolk, this is not that programme. They've taken the day off today. You're watching Referendum 2011. Live coverage. Yesterday, the country went to the polls to decide yes or no in the referendum. And today, we've been watching all of the results come in each of the constituencies, in each of the local authorities. It's an overwhelming yes. Wales has voted yes. There was a mathematical trigger of 402,567 or thereabouts, beyond which it would be a yes vote, and the yes camp are very firmly over that now at 463,705. So it is yes for Wales. We are waiting for that Cardiff count. We're also waiting to talk to the leaders of the yes and the no campaign to get their reaction. I'm also joined by the veteran political commentator Rod Richards, who's sitting here very patiently, and also Jane Davidson, who we had a few words with just a few moments ago. Thank you very much indeed for waiting so patiently. It's good to see you. What's going to be the reaction in your old party, the Conservative Party? You were a Conservative minister for many years. You were an MP in Westminster, and you even worked in that place behind us as an AM. But there'll be lots of people in the Tory party, I guess, who will be rather sorry to see this result today.
Yes, I think they will be, and I think one of the opinion surveys that I've seen recently went completely contrary to the nationwide survey, which said that 3 to 1 of the Conservatives would be against devolution, greater powers. So one of the questions they're bound to ask is, why is it that the Tory Assembly group were supporting a yes vote? And that question will have to be answered. Having said that, they will also have to ask the question, despite the fact that their own people here were in favour of yes, they'll have to ask the question, well, why did the vote go the way that it did, to the extent that it did? My initial response to that is that I think that the argument put forward by the Yes campaign that Wales is entitled to have what Scotland and Northern Ireland already have, was probably persuasive, more persuasive than the argument that the track record of the Assembly government was not as one would have wished it to be.
Well, we'll come to the track record of the Assembly in just a few moments, but it's worth picking up while we're talking about the Conservative Party's problems wrestling with further devolution or not, because it was also a problem for the Labour Party. We heard from Lord Tuig, Don Tuig, the former MP, who really didn't want this yes vote. It's been a problem for your party as well, some quarters of your party.
I think it has, but I think that what we were able to do in the Labour Party is very much look at what the best outcome was for the people of Wales. And by very clearly advocating support for this referendum, 80% of Labour members have been supporting this referendum. They've been pounding the streets along with other parties. And because we're the largest party in Wales, getting behind the referendum in the way we did, we're absolutely confident has helped trigger the amazing result that we have today. But all parties will end up with a debate within them. And I think what is actually quite notable is the same kind of figures that saw Rod's party divided to the extent of either 25% in favour, 75% against, or in our party 80% in favour, 20% against, also saw the Liberal Democrat vote go down to 45% in favour, and that's all. So we've seen some really interesting outcomes from parties. But at the end of the day, what the people of Wales have decided is to make sure that we have the best system in Wales, and they have laid to question forever the question about whether or not we have an assembly.
Well, let's talk about the people of Wales, and I want to talk to you both about turnout. We're looking at a turnout in the 30s, and lots of people will say, well, it doesn't matter what the turnout is, it's an irrelevance, it's a red herring. But there'll be lots of people watching the telly this afternoon who either didn't vote or will say to you, this decision wasn't mine. It's a low turnout, it's in its 30s, and that building behind can't really, some people will say, honestly speak for the people of Wales on that result.
Yes, in fact, I had a notional mark in my mind as to what was acceptable, what would be unacceptable, and what would be actually embarrassing. And the figure that I hit on was, well, what was the result in the referendum in London for the mayor? And 40%, I think 34% turnout is what happened there. Now, if that's acceptable for the Mayor of London, then we've got, what, 35% here. So I think that that is fair enough. Not as good as we would wish it to be, bearing in mind what's happening in North Africa, of course. But no, I think that's fair enough. But there's another point as well in terms of the results of this referendum, and that is that it reflects the resources that have gone into both campaigns. The Yes campaign had the full resources of all four political parties going into the Yes vote. The No campaign had the people's pennies compared with the party's millions.
How will today's results change politics for ordinary people sitting at home who aren't interested in the sort of political administration that occupies people like you and political journalists? How will it change the way politics goes forward from here? Because we've heard a lot in this campaign about the past performance. People like you saying, well, we shouldn't vote on the Assembly's performance to date and what it's done in the way of education policy and hospitals and economic development. This isn't about that. But it is in a sense, isn't it?
Well, I think there's one thing on which I would want to very strongly agree with Rod, is that if the turnout had been vastly different from the turnout for the Mayor of London, it would have been an easy dig to suggest that the referendum result was not going to have legitimacy. I think the fact that we have got turnout that is slightly better than that does give the outcome very, very clear legitimacy. But I think also the people of Wales have been able to distinguish between making sure that there is a good and proper and sensible system for the delivery of politics in the Assembly by all parties, which is what the vote was about yesterday, and whoever they might want in government, which is what the vote is about in May.
We'll talk more a little later. Thank you for the moment, both of you. Good to see you. Rod Richards and Jane Davidson as well. We still haven't got this Cardiff result. I don't know know what's going on in Cardiff, but as soon as we have this Cardiff result, we are going to take you straight there and we'll give it to you. But at the moment, there isn't a Cardiff result. It's the only place in the whole country that hasn't declared, but we'll give you the Cardiff result in just a few moments. We also think that we're starting to line up a number of the key players in the Yes and No campaign. I think we're going to talk to Peter Hain, the former Secretary of State for Wales, in just a few moments. So we'll have a word with him. But with the time coming up to 3 o'clock, if you're just joining us here on BBC One Wales, why don't we update you on the stories so far on Referendum 2011. These are the main headlines. It's pretty much all but over, really. 21 results in. We've got one more to go, that Cardiff result. You'll see that target there. This was that mathematical magic figure for the Yes campaign. Once they reached that target, then it was always going to be yes. That was the figure they had to reach, and they've reached it. So it is a resounding yes for Wales. The turnout, 35%. We've been talking about that, not just today, but on many days leading up to today. I'm hearing we can take you... well, let's have a look at this. Monmouthshire, of course, is the black sheep of the day. Monmouth is the only, so far, I mustn't say that because we haven't had Cardiff yet. Monmouthshire is the only area to vote no, and look at that wafer-thin majority. Monmouthshire voted no by 320, the turnout 35%. The biggest yes vote is worth a quick look at while we're summarising what's happened so far today. In Gwynedd, 76% voted yes. And let's just have a look at turnout because we've been going on about that. In Wrexham, only 27% turned up to vote. In Torfaen, up to 33%. So those lower figures in the 20s, the 27s, the 28s and the 29s, obviously are what people were very concerned about indeed. So that's the story at 3 o'clock. As I say, we're still waiting for that Cardiff result, and we're going to take you over there in just a few moments. We're also going to talk to the Secretary of State for Wales, Peter Hain. But in the meantime, I'm joined by Rod Richards, the former MP, AM, government minister and now political commentator, and Jane Davidson from Labour too. Rod Richards, a lot has been talked during the campaign about voting on the Assembly's past performance, and we've seen all the stories about underperforming schools and postcode lottery and health and economic development being very disappointing. One of the reasons devolution's story started was to improve economic development. It hasn't been a story always covered in glory, has it?
It's a lot worse than that, I'm afraid. In many areas, such as education, it's been a complete disaster. An entire generation of school children have been let down by failing schools and a failing system, and indeed underfunding because local education authorities have held on to money that they should not have done. Similarly, the economy is, as one pundit described it in Wales, as a basket case. However, what is far more interesting perhaps is rather than look back at what has happened or not happened, as the case may be, is to look ahead. And I think the Yes campaign have, to some extent, laid a booby trap for themselves for the future. Because to quote the chairman, he said there will no longer be any excuses. So 4 years from now, or 5 years from now, when we come to the next Assembly elections, we can look back over the period between now and then and see precisely what it is that this Assembly government will have or will not have achieved.
Jane Davidson, you're leaving, you're retiring from Assembly politics. He's right, isn't he? I mean, there have been vast areas, certainly in terms of the performance of schools, the funding of pupils, the postcode lottery and health, and in terms of economic development and the creation of jobs, which you would have preferred, presumably, to go into this campaign with a better record, a better story.
Well, I think what's interesting about education is, of course, education has improved in Wales since the Assembly's been in place. What it has not done is improved at the same rate in the context of schools as other parts of the United Kingdom. But all parties have supported the introduction of the foundation phase that I introduced as Education Minister while I had that tenure. And that has been independently evaluated as being very, very positive in children's experience. Similarly, we have support for the baccalaureate. And we know that the work that the current Education Minister, Leighton Andrews is doing with schools and Estin, as the inspectorate is doing with schools, will raise those standards. What is absolutely critical, and of course I was the minister who put us into PISA, the independent evaluation across the world.
You probably wish you hadn't now after what they said.
Absolutely not at all. I absolutely stand by putting us into PISA because that enables us to compare our performance across the world. And those challenges are set to all parties in terms of taking this forward.
In the last word, is this afternoon the end of the devolution journey, or are we going to be sitting in television studios quite soon talking about a separate legal system and tax-raising powers?
I think this is absolutely the end of the debate as to whether or not there should be an assembly in Wales. That question has been absolutely laid to rest, and the First Minister, Carwyn Jones, has also been extremely clear that going forward this is not about looking for tax-raising powers.
Well, interestingly, but Ron Davies, your former colleague and Secretary of State for Wales, has this very day called for the tax-raising powers now to be on the agenda
but
for
of course
Wales.
he's now a member for Plaid Cymru, which has always argued that. So
but he
you
was
wouldn't
the one,
expect him to have done anything else.
He was the one who devised and thought up the sobriquet a process and not an event, and he was with you then. And you've been quoting him ever since.
Well, we could talk and talk all afternoon about the life and times of Ron Davies, but we'll draw a line under it there. Thank you both very much indeed. We are waiting still for this Cardiff result. I've got no idea what's going on in Cardiff, but we are, I hope, in the next couple of minutes able to tell you how Cardiff has voted in this referendum. In the meantime, in the building across the road from me in the Senedd, the Yes and No campaigners are gathering to watch the remaining result and, of course, perhaps let their hair down after what's been a very, very long campaign for many of them. These are the foot soldiers who've been doing the hard work of stuffing envelopes and knocking doors. Let's talk to Beth Ann Lewis now, who is with the former Secretary of State for Wales, Peter Hay.
Thank you, Jamie. As you can see, it's getting pretty busy here in the Senedd. People waiting for that final result. We've just had an announcement saying it will be in a few minutes' time. I'm joined now by the Shadow Welsh Secretary, Peter Hay. Thanks very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Your reaction to the results?
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to see such a decisive big yes vote, and particularly to see right across the valleys in areas like Flintshire, where the Labour vote came out in masses to vote yes. So that's great. I'm also personally thrilled to see such a big yes vote in Neath, although we were pipped at the post for the biggest yes vote we had in 1997, this time by Gwynedd. But a fantastic vote of confidence in devolution, and for the way that Carwyn Jones has led our Welsh Assembly government here, and Ed Miliband, the Labour leader, came down to campaign for the Labour vote to come out as it did. So all in all, a great day for Wales. And one of the things I found on the doorstep was that people wanted also to send a message in the way they voted yesterday to the Westminster government, saying you mustn't continue with these reckless cuts and the policies that people in Wales don't want.
Back in 1997, Ron Davies was seen as the architect of devolution. You could be seen perhaps as the architect of this stage of devolution, driving forward the 2006 Government of Wales Act. At the time you said it would settle the constitutional issue for a generation. Do you still believe that?
Yes, I do, because the 2006 Act is fantastic. It was my act, and to see the legislation now playing out with this big yes vote, that the legislation provided for a referendum like this and for the lawmaking powers that I've always supported since the early 1990s and campaigned for in 1997. So personally, that's fantastic. But I do think it now settles this issue. Now the focus should be on delivering better schools, better hospitals, more jobs, a stronger economy, because the Welsh economy needs to become much more competitive and the business sector strengthened as well. So that clears the way for an end to the constitutional debate and get on with the real policies.
So no tax-raising powers, no more powers devolved over the next few years?
Well, tax-raising powers required a referendum by the Scots. They had to vote for tax-raising powers. You remember there were two questions. Do you want a Scottish Parliament, and do you want tax-varying powers, as they voted for in 1997? You would have to have a referendum if you were to go down that road. But, frankly, that's not nobody's agenda at the present time. People are more concerned about the day-to-day policies, about schools, about hospitals, about how we survive, given the Conservative-led government's cuts coming down the road from Westminster. If tax-raising powers or tax-varying powers arise in the future, there'll have to be a referendum, but it's not on anybody's serious agenda now. And given the way the Welsh economy is so closely integrated with England, I think it'd be very difficult to see how that could work.
The No campaign talked about the Assembly not deserving the powers because of the record of the Assembly government. There's a big responsibility now, isn't there, on AMs to deliver?
Oh yes, there is, and now the AMs have got, Assembly members have got the powers that they've always wanted, and I've always wanted them to have, to really deliver without asking Westminster's permission. And with this government in Westminster, you often won't get the permission. Now they can go full speed ahead, but delivery's got to be the watchword, instead of a continual and fascinating debate to the political classes about constitutional issues. Now, with the backing of the people of Wales, we can go fully ahead to implement the policies that people want.
Peter Hain, thank you very much. It sounds like something might be about to happen behind us. Back to you now, Jamie.
OK, Beth Ann, thank you very much indeed. Well, we are still waiting here in Referendum 2011 for the Cardiff result. It isn't very far from Llanishen, where that count is taking place, to Cardiff Bay, but well, I don't know what's going on. I mean, obviously, Cardiff is one of the biggest counts taking place in Wales. I mean, that's why it's going to be taking longer than everyone else, but it is taking substantially longer than everyone else. But who knows? Maybe the pigeon has broken down. But just as soon as we get that result from Cardiff, from Llanishen, we will give it to you. So that's to come in the next few minutes, we hope. In the meantime, why don't we head to the other end of the country and head to Aberystwyth, I think, to see what's going on in Aberystwyth. I think we're joined by some students there. It's very early for students to be up, it seems to me, but Rachel Garside has been joined by a couple of students from Aberystwyth University.
I have indeed, Jamie. There are around 7,000 students here on campus in Aberystwyth. I'm joined by Jess Jones and Rachel Evans. Jess, historically we would expect students to be politically active and certainly enthused about what's going on. Has that been the case? Has there been heated debate on campus here?
Well, apparently there's been some sort of debate on the campus, but in terms of students talking about it, no, hardly anything sort of coming about, and the fact that this referendum was taking place was sort of unbeknown to me. So it was, only through sort of luck that I found out about it, really. Yeah.
Rachel, the same for you. How did you find out the information that you needed to vote?
Well, I found out. Well, I heard that there was a referendum debate, but like Jess said, none of the students were invited, and I felt that there was no information being given out to the public, yes or no. So you just have to go online, have a look at it, and then decide.
It has been quite interesting how much information technology has played a part in the campaigning this time around. Do you think that helps in terms of getting young people interested?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, well, when I found out that it was taking place, I went onto the Assembly website, and straight away there was sort of links to Twitter, links to Facebook, and so you can find out more what was going on in your area then. So it gets a lot more specific. But yeah, and it was only through Facebook, sort of, finding out from friends, telling people about it, putting the status up, that I think, it sort of does spread across to other people, and they find out about it.
That could be quite an effective way of getting young people interested, couldn't it?
Yeah, a lot more, because a lot of people, especially back home, don't care about it. So if you don't vote, you can't. Well, if you vote, you can say something, but don't complain about it. So I think that is a positive way of getting young people involved in politics.
Either of you two interested in a career in politics?
Not in a career, but very sort of active in it, especially with the student things that are going on at the moment. One of the main reasons for sort of saying yes, really. But not going into politics, I don't think.
But what do you think of this resounding yes vote here in Wales? What does this do for our image, and certainly for the Assembly's image, but for Wales in general?
Well, it just helps us be more, Wales united. We don't have to go to Westminster to pass laws, and also because of the Welsh Assembly, tuition fees are down, and that, like Jess said, it was one of the main reasons for voting. So we are more like Scotland and Northern Ireland now in that sense.
So you felt that there was something that you could certainly engage with, that this single issue for you was tuition fees?
Definitely. Well, I mean, it's the patriotic side of things, but I mean, they have stuck by the Welsh students, and I think in terms of the younger generation being involved, it's something they have stuck by us. They have sort of, throughout what the English government have put in place, they have said, we're going to stand by you, and so it's something that I feel really passionately that it should be there.
Was it the first time for you voting?
No, I actually voted in the general elections as well, but,
And can I ask you what you both voted?
I voted for Labour, but...
In the referendum.
Oh, in here, I voted yes, yeah.
I voted yes as well.
Yeah.
And do you think we will now see more interest after this referendum, here in Aberystwyth, that we will see more interest from the student?
Possibly, yeah. I just think, it's sort of, it is coming more and more sort of, it's been shown on TV. It is coming into sort of social networking. So hopefully, it will become more and more sort of popular. But I think it is something students are very passionate, and they're getting more passionate now that things are starting to affect us, definitely.
Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you.
From the sunshine in Aberystwyth, back to you in the studio.
Rachel, thank you very much. And I must issue an immediate apology to all of our student viewers who I've slighted by suggesting that they're only just getting up, because Professor Roger Scully from Aberystwyth University tells me that he has a 9 o'clock lecture. How cruel. That's a terrible thing. Fancy getting the students up at 9 o'clock. That's shocking.
Yes.
We'll talk more in just a few moments. We're also going to give you all the headlines of what's happened so far. So if you missed any of it, I'll update you in just a few moments. But Rena's here, and he's been with me watching the results come in.
I'm here to spring to Cardiff's defence, Jamie. Cardiff is slow counting because Cardiff is very large, and we've got a map here that can show us the size of Cardiff as compared with all the other counties in Wales. The darker the colour, the larger the population. Cardiff down here, some 250,000 people allowed to vote this time. Some of the early results, Ynys Môn and Blaenau Gwent. Well, Cardiff is 5 times those counties, so Jamie, do give them a break, because it's a very large county and they've got many votes to count. Interestingly, though, on Cardiff, let's look at the results from 97 in Cardiff. If I remember rightly, 47,000 people voted yes in Cardiff in 97. Well, I can tell you if a similar number, even a bit less than that, actually vote yes this time, well, that takes us over the 500,000 yes votes mark, takes us over 500,000 votes, and that brings us very, very close to the yes vote in 1997, and that's despite the lower turnout. Now, shall I hazard a guess at the result in Cardiff based on the figures that we have from the rest of Wales? I reckon turnout low 30s and 56, 57-ish% yes.
Are you putting money on this?
I can't get to the bookies now. Maybe I would.
There speaks an Anglicite, you see. He won't put his money where his mouth is. Reen, thank you very much indeed. I have just been watching a camera feed where a man shoved a piece of paper in front of a camera saying, declaration imminent. So we might be able to take you over to Cardiff. Announcement imminent. I mustn't say declaration, because there are announcements in a referendum by a counting officer, not a returning officer. Anyway, we'll come over to Cardiff in just a few moments. It's going to happen any second. Rod Richards is here, the political commentator, and also Professor Roger Scully. It's really difficult and too early to have this conversation yet, but it's not going to be that easy at the moment, is it, to break down these results in terms of age, sex, region. I mean, people like you will sit in attics over the next couple of months and do strange things like that.
Well, not in attics, I hope, but yes. This is actually the first Welsh referendum where we've been able to do a study of voters that includes speaking to a large number of them before the referendum and then going back and speaking to many of the same people afterwards. And it'd be interesting to see how many of them actually changed their minds over time and which particular sorts of people changed their minds. Were the young or the old, or the more or less well educated, more or less well interested in politics, actually more open to referendum campaigns, or how many people did the referendum campaign simply completely pass them by without them even really being aware of it?
We're going to take you straight over to the Senedd now. Sorry to cut across you, Roger, but there's an announcement taking place in the Senedd right now, and I have no idea what it is, but I'm keen to listen to it. Here we go.
The number of votes cast in favour of yes is 53,427.
Y nifer o bleidleisiau fwrwyd o blaid ydw yw 53,427.
The number of votes cast in favour of no is 33,606.
A nifer o bleidleisiau fwrwyd o blaid nac ydw yw 33,606.
That is a turnout of 35.2%.
Nifer y bleidleisio 35.2 y cant.
I'm now going to announce the national result for the referendum on the lawmaking powers of the National Assembly for Wales. Roi fi, Jenny Watson, fel Prif Swyddog Cyfrif Cymru am y referendum o dan orchamin referendum Cynulliad Cenedlaethol Cymru 2010 ac anhaliwyd ar y 3 o Fardd 2011 drwy hyn an ardostio o ran nifer y pleidleisiau a fwriwyd yng Nghymru mai. I, Jenny Watson, as the Chief Counting Officer for Wales, at the referendum under the National Assembly for Wales Referendum Order 2010, held on the 3rd of March 2011, hereby certify that as respects the number of votes cast in Wales, cyfanswm a papurau pleidleisio a gyfrifwyd yw 81559, the number of ballot papers counted is 815,597. Cyfanswm a pleidleisiau a fwriwyd y blaid ydw yw 517,132. The total number of votes cast in favour of yes is 517,132. Cyfanswm a pleidleisiau a fwriwyd y blaid nac ydw yw 29,380. The total number of votes cast in favour of no is 297,380. Thank you. Diolch.
You are seeing there the announcement in the Senedd, and just to remind you, what happens is we have 22 counts all across the country, but each of these counts are repeated in the Senedd, in the building behind us. It's a yes vote for Cardiff, and we'll have a look at the hard figures now for the Cardiff vote. Here we go. It's a substantial majority of, I think, 19,000, if my sums serve me right. There we are, 19,820. The turnout, 35%, 53,427, 61% for yes, 39% for no, 33,606 people voted no. Let's hear Roger Lewis now, the leader of the Yes for Wales campaign, also Chief Executive of the Welsh Rugby Union.
Today, Wales has spoken. Yes. Wales has said yes. Today is a truly remarkable moment in our nation's history. Laws which only affect Wales will henceforth be made in Wales. Today we can stand alongside Northern Ireland and Scotland as full and equal partners in a stronger United Kingdom. Heddiw mae Cymru un. Heddiw mae Cymru un. Mae Cymru yn hapus ac yn hyderus. Let us, though, be in no doubt about the challenges ahead. Our politicians have asked for more tools to tackle the challenges. They will now have those tools. And together, we must play our part confidently in making Wales better. The unity of purpose that has characterised this campaign must extend beyond this referendum. We can, we must, we will all work together for the benefit of the people of Wales. I've been honoured to play a part alongside an extraordinary team of volunteers to turn this campaign from an idea into victory. I sincerely thank everyone who has contributed to this success. The sight of people from all walks of Welsh life, from all four parties, coming together and staying together has been an inspiration. North, south, east and west, the people of Wales have been united. It has been an immense team effort. And to those we haven't reached, I would like to say this. Together, Together we can take Wales forward. Our country has such great potential. Yes, it faces great challenges, but now is the time for all of us to take responsibility. Let's not be afraid to make decisions or make mistakes. The real failure is if we do not try. The culture of blame and excuse must be behind us. Today, we have found our voice. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you.
Well, that was Roger Lewis, who over the past month and longer has been leading the Yes for Wales campaign, in addition to his duties as Chief Executive of the Welsh Rugby Union. First Minister Carwyn Jones.
A warm welcome to you all on this such a historic day in the history of Wales. Wales has voted yes. From the coast to the border, from the north to the south, our country is united in a way that perhaps it wasn't back in 1997. We've seen people voting yes all across Wales, and we've seen a significant victory today and a vote of confidence by our people in themselves. But it also means, of course, that for us as politicians, we have a duty to show those people who voted yesterday that we can use the powers that we have for the benefit of our people. A duty as well to convince those who voted no, to show that we can do the best for them as well, and we can take our country forward as an equal partner within the UK. We can now do things instead of talking about doing things. We can now say to our people, yes, we can do that for you, rather than saying, yes, we might be able to, but we have to ask permission first. We're now in a position where, when it comes to devolved responsibilities, we have the same powers as Northern Ireland and Scotland, and that has to be right for our people. But now we can sit as full and equal partners with the other nations within the UK. We are now full and equal partners within the UK. Heddi, fe gafodd hen wlad a'i pharch. Today, an old nation came of age. Thank you.
Well, that was the First Minister, Carwyn Jones, who will be relieved to have got to today with the result that he's got, leader of Welsh Labour, and of course just a few days to recharge his batteries before he begins another campaign, the Welsh general election. Iwan Wyn Jones, Deputy First Minister.
Am gymeryd y penderfyniad sy'n dangos bod calon y genedl hon yn dal I guron gadarn a bod gennym ni hyder bellach I symud Cymru yn ei blaen. Mae heddiw yn ddiwrnod balch iawn I mi ac I'm mhlaid I. Doedden ni rioed wrth gwrs wedi ama uchelgais pobl Cymru. A dyna pam yr oedd yr ymrwymiad I gynnal y referendwm yn elfen mor bwysig o gytundeb Cymru'n un. Mae pwerau deddfu yna I bwrpas.
Well, Iwan Wyn Jones talking to the gathered at the Senedd, and before him we heard from the First Minister, Carwyn Jones, and also from Roger Lewis, who has led the Yes for Wales campaign over the last month or so, talking to the people who've worked for them, who've been filling campaign envelopes and stuffing letterboxes and trudging around the streets of Wales in this campaign over the last few weeks or so. We're going to hear from Rachel Banner and the No campaigners in the next couple of minutes, we expect. Betsan Powys, our political editor, is with me, and also Professor Roger Scully. There is a look of... I think we can we go back to Iwan Wyn Jones now? I think we can.
Even in the early years of my political career, the voice of the doubters that Wales could never do things for herself still rang loudly. But I have always known that small as she is, Wales is a nation as capable as any other nation of taking control of decisions that affect the lives of our people, to maintain our identity in an increasingly standardised world. I knew that Wales needed its democratic institution, and I was so proud that we voted yes in 1997. Now, however, that we've taken the decision to have lawmaking powers in the Assembly by a bigger margin and right across Wales, north, south, east and west, let's be proud of the fact that the nation has spoken with one voice today. To demand respect, you must first display self-respect. And that's what we have done today. The rest of the world can now sit up and take notice that a small nation on the western edge of the European continent has shown that it is determined to maintain its identity and to seek new opportunities. The people of Wales have told us, you now have the tools to do the job. Go on and do it, and that's what we will do.
Ian Wynne-Jones leaving the stage, and we're going to hear now from the leader of the Welsh Liberal Democrats, Kirsty Williams.
Who gathered together just up the road at the atrium at the beginning of this campaign could have anticipated the result that we have seen this afternoon. Even the most enthusiastic of campaigner, I'm sure, would have doubted if we would have seen today, across our nation, the results that we have seen. And whilst I am very glad to those people in Neath Port Talbot and the other areas where we've seen big margins, I'm even more proud of the people in those counties that voted no last time round, to see them embrace this democratic institution here today. They have understood that what they want is a parliament that can do things quicker, more efficiently, cheaper, that will make politicians here in this building work harder and make them more accountable for what they do and what they do not do. But for me, more than anything, I would like to say thank you. Thank you to the people throughout our country that have given of their time, energy and emotion to make this result possible today. People from all political parties, but especially people from no political party at all, that have stepped up to the plate and have seen the need to invest in our nation. And our duty now as a political class is to invest back in them. Some people have said this is all about process, and much of it has been. But for me, the best thing about today is that the people of Wales have spoken loudly and clearly and confidently. What a message to send to the rest of the UK and indeed the world. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you.
The leader of the Welsh Liberal Democrats, Kirsty Williams, thanking her troops for all of their work, and a wider message, of course. Nick Bourne, the leader of the Conservatives.
They've spoken with one voice, clearly and decisively, and that is good news for us all. Could I first of all thank everybody who's been involved as polling clerks and in delivering this referendum throughout Wales. I think we owe them a big debt of gratitude for the way that the poll was conducted. I'd also like to give a big thank you to Roger Lewis, who has shown such fantastic leadership. Truly outstanding, leading a bunch of volunteers, politicians who provided far more headaches, I'm sure, than the volunteers throughout the process. But it's been a remarkably well-run, well-ordered, happy campaign. And on this spring day, Wales now takes a new step. This is a new opportunity to deliver for the people of Wales. And we must do just that. Could I also thank, from the bottom of my heart, my fellow Assembly members in my group who've worked throughout Wales in helping to deliver what has been such a uniform result in parts of Wales which perhaps not traditionally have been votes where devolution were easy to come by. But as I say, this presents us with a new opportunity, a new challenge, because now we have to deliver. Now we have the tools to get on with the job. There are no hiding places, and we must do that economically, on health, on the environment, on all of those issues. And we must do that in partnership with Westminster as part of the United Kingdom. But I look forward to that challenge, and once more, this is a new opportunity for Wales. Great, let's go from here, and I'm sure pictures are being beamed around the world of this bright spring day in Wales with this message of hope for our nation. Let's capitalise on that. Let's go forward together. Thank you so much.
Nick Bourne, the leader of the Welsh Conservatives, ending that series of speeches from the victors, if I can put them like that, because we heard there from the leaders of all the political parties in Wales, all united, of course. Let's go back and hear from the No campaign now, and Rachel Banner, who led the No campaign.
I'd also like to extend a warm, heartfelt thanks to all of the people who are involved in the No campaign across the country. Ordinary people, not politicians, who tried to do their best for Wales. They spent so much time and energy and passion in the campaign, and I think that's something that really needs to be understood. And they did this for the cause of better devolution and for the best for Wales. And I'd also like to congratulate the Yes campaigners, because they did work hard for this result. And they had a lot more foot soldiers than we did, and I would like to pay tribute to them for their campaign. But this result is a turning point in the history of our nation. And the Yes campaign has every reason to be pleased that it's won the right to direct lawmaking power. But another issue in this campaign is legitimacy, and we need to consider this turnout. We have to accept that this is the result, that's fine. But has it got the full-hearted consent of the Welsh people? And should this referendum have been held now, or should it have been held in 2006? Let us see if this unicameral assembly with just 42 backbench AMs can provide enough scrutiny for high-quality scrutiny for making good laws. Let's see if it can. We have to make sure that our media is given complete freedom to be able to cover anything, all the politics that emanate from here. We cannot have any broadcasters facing pressure because they do a rigorous job holding politicians to account. We live in a democracy, we have to be proud of that, but that has to be one thing that's acknowledged. And is this 2011 referendum vote going to result in more centralisation here, or is it going to result in devolution to the people, true devolution? And I think with this result, even now, there is still space for true devolution. And I think every AM here, every politician, everyone who works here ought to embrace the idea of true devolution. Also, will direct lawmaking power lead us inexorably to a separate legal jurisdiction? If criminal justice is to be devolved, will there be a referendum? And what will happen to Wales on the Wholesome issues, the replacement of Barnett with a needs-based funding formula, that will presumably be dealt with, and on tax and borrowing powers, what will happen there? Will there be a referendum on any of these things? And if there is a One Wales government, two, between Labour and Plaid Cymru, will that take us ever more far? Will that take us further down the separatist road? And to adapt Ron Davies's famous devolution is a process, not an event phrase, separation is a process leading to an event. And I would appeal to anyone who does want separation from the UK to really think about how many people voted no in this referendum, because there were thousands, and to consider that actually the people of Wales are not, they don't necessarily support this step-by-step process towards separation. So the campaign may be over, but the issues that we in the No campaign have championed are much to the fore, and we are not going away, although we will work constructively within this situation. We accept this outcome. We will work constructively. We all want the best for devolution in Wales, and that's what we'll be working for. Thank you.
Well, there we are. That's Rachel Banner speaking on behalf of the No campaign, and we previously heard from all four of the political parties in the Assembly. Kirsty Williams for the Liberal Democrats. We heard Nick Bourne and Carwyn Jones and Ian Wynne-Jones. A lot of food for thought there, and we'll pick up some of those points in just a few moments with my guests, our political editor Betsan Powers, and also the former First Minister, Rhodri Morgan, who's joined us. So we'll hear from them in just a few moments and their reactions to what we've been listening to and, of course, the result. First, with the time at, what is it? It's 3:38. Why don't we update you on the latest headlines with Thomas David?
Good afternoon. Within the past quarter of an hour, the Yes campaign have been declared the winners in the referendum over full lawmaking powers for the National Assembly. All of the 22 constituencies have now declared. 21 voted yes, with only one voting no. That was Monmouthshire, where a recount was needed, with the No campaign eventually winning in its heartland by fewer than 400 votes.
The number of votes cast in favour of yes is 12,381. The number of votes cast in favour of no is 12,701.
Majorities for the Yes campaign were in Gwynedd, Carmarthenshire and Neath Talbot. The Vale of Glamorgan narrowly voted yes with only 52.5% of the vote. Roger Lewis, who led the Yes for Wales campaign, was delighted by the result.
Today is a truly remarkable moment in our nation's history. Laws which only affect Wales will henceforth be made in Wales. Today we can stand alongside Northern Ireland and Scotland as full and equal partners in a stronger United Kingdom.
2/3 of the Welsh people have decided that it wasn't worth voting in this referendum. I can understand why they don't feel it's important, but I disagree with them. I think it's very important. This referendum is one more salami slice towards separatism.
Across Wales, turnout at the polls has been varied, with Yes campaigners saying it's been better than expected. The Chief Counting Officer has declared the provisional turnout as 35.2%. We'll have plenty of analysis and reaction to the referendum results on Wales Today at 6:30.
Well, welcome back to Cardiff Bay and our live coverage of Referendum 2011. The results are all in. It's a pretty convincing yes for Wales. The turnout was around about 35% or thereabouts, and I'm joined by our political editor, Betsan Powers, and also the former First Minister, Rhodri Morgan. Your reaction, first of all, to this news, a yes for Wales?
I'm very relieved and absolutely delighted.
And how about the turnout?
Same as in the mayoral election referendum in London in '97, which in a way is an easier question to understand. Are you going to have an directly elected mayor or not? Everybody can understand that. In this case, it was a pretty difficult question to understand, more similar to the kinds of constitutional questions the Irish and the Swiss have all the time, but we in Britain don't usually have. So the fact that we got a similar turnout to the London mayoral direct election referendum, I think, is not bad, actually.
Betsan Powers, are you surprised by what we've seen today? Were you expecting different figures and perhaps a slightly different story?
Yes, I was. I didn't think it would be this convincing. The polls, especially the last few days, had opened and said it was going to be very, very convincing. I think even some of the pollsters themselves thought there was some shyness around the no vote. There was a shyness, but there was a shyness in that they didn't turn out to vote. This is a convincing win for the Yes campaign, no doubt about that. And, you know, I'm coming back to where I started. We will talk about turnout and we will talk about the process, we will talk about all sorts of things. At the end, you have to say that this is truly historic in that there will be now primary legislation powers here, primary lawmaking powers in the Assembly, the Senedd, that you can still see behind us there, in Wales, in Scotland, in Northern Ireland, and in England now, for legislators who can go their own way. And that is an important story, not just for Wales, but therefore as it's part in the jigsaw of the rest of the UK.
And something that the people who work in politics, and in particular political campaigning, will be interested in, is that there was no money spent on the campaign here. Well, you laugh, but what does it say to all those people who spend shed loads of money on political campaigns in the UK, America and Europe? You clearly don't need the money, do you?
Well, I think the turnout would probably have been higher if there had been a more convincing no campaign, but they went for the low ball option, if you like, by not asking for registered status, which meant the Electoral Commission then denied that. They have to deny it to the yes campaign as well, but that meant that in a way the no campaign was going not for a win but for a low turnout, and then to have a bit of a go at the mandate. In the end the turnout wasn't that low, and the mandate is pretty good at 61-39, and so they can't use that argument. And Rachel Banner, to be fair to her, and I've learned to respect her a lot, as I've done a lot of two-handed debates with her, she didn't really have a moan at the result at all.
No, she didn't. I think she did accept it, didn't she? Very quite, quite graciously.
And do you think this will be seen as an acceptable result? All the people, perhaps many of whom who didn't vote, will say, well, look, this wasn't Wales speaking. This was just the politically informed, the political elite who've spoken
people aren't
today.
going to say that. They're going to look at the Flintshire result, the Vale of Glamorgan result, the areas that were deeply sceptical last time, and the fact that only 1 out of 22 local authorities, that is Monmouthshire, voted no, and that only by a squeak, and the other 21. When Flintshire, votes by not far off 2-1 in favour of greater powers for the Welsh Assembly, that is a pretty mind-boggling transformation. Now, I can remember when I took over as First Minister, people used to ask me, well, why did you get a narrow squeak in the referendum in '97 compared to, look at Scotland, almost 2-1. I said, well, look, Scottish civil society was ready for devolution. Scottish civil society is devolved anyway. All their civil society organisations are autonomous. So you just put the Scottish Parliament on top of it, it fits very neatly. In Wales, we didn't have a tradition of autonomy in our farmers' movements, trade unions, youth movements, women's movements. Everybody proposes decisions, and a head office in London will tell you whether you can do it or not. So we were used to this idea. We make proposals, but London's got to tell us whether we can do it or not. And finally, after devolution has come, that's when civil society started to change in favour of autonomous decision-making and not referring something to head office to see if they give us permission.
Rhodri Morgan, thank you very much indeed. And Betsan Powers for a moment, thank you very much indeed. Let's cross over to the Senedd now, where all those politicians are gathering and perhaps letting their hair down, allowing themselves a moment of brief relaxation before they start talking about another political milestone, the election, of course, coming up. Our reporter Beth Ann Lewis is with them. Let's hear from her now.
Thank you, Jamie. The speeches are finished. Listening to all of those speeches was the Welsh Secretary, Cheryl Gillen. Thank you for joining us. What do you make of the result?
I think today has been a very good day for Wales. I think many of us were concerned that it may be a particularly low turnout in terms of in the 20%, and also that the result would not be so clear-cut. So to see such a definite result and to see a turnout, although I'm disappointed that it was 35.2%, let's get it right, that's better than for the London Assembly. So it's a good day for Wales, it's a definite result, and the Welsh Assembly government and the Welsh Assembly can move forward.
You as an individual didn't take a position either way on this referendum, but you're satisfied with the result?
Absolutely. I always said right from the beginning, in fact even back when we were doing the legislation, that if Wales decided to go for full lawmaking powers in this referendum, I would be the first one to welcome it. And I think that's absolutely right. The people of Wales needed to decide where they wanted to go, and they've decided decisively today that full lawmaking powers for the Welsh Assembly government is the result they wanted, and that's a good thing.
Within your party, the AMs, of course, took a pro-yes vote stance. Many of the MPs didn't. And maybe people, some of the membership, were a bit more sceptical. Where does that leave the party itself on this issue, on the Constitution?
Well, I think we were the sensible party. We recognised there were differences in our party. Indeed, there were differences in the Labour Party. I believe Lord Tewing came out as recently as last night for the no vote, whereas somebody like Paul Murphy was supporting the yes vote. There are differences of opinions, but those are opinions that are held quite honourably. Some people wanted more lawmaking powers here, and it's not surprising that the Assembly members would want that. But it's also not surprising that there would be other people that differed. We recognised that in our party, and we allowed people to have a free vote. We didn't tell them how to vote, and I think that was the sensible way to go about it. After all, everybody that voted, whichever way they voted, was voting in what they thought was the best interests of Wales, and that's what's important. It's Wales's day today.
Can I ask you briefly, can you explain briefly how things are going to change now? Is your role as Welsh Secretary going to be diminished?
No.
You're not going to have this veto?
No. There are still elements where the Secretary of State has a say. What will happen is that when a measure, or formally a measure, is now made here, it will be called a bill, and there will be acts of the Assembly. And if the Assembly is not sure whether or not they have that competence, they don't have to check, they can just go ahead and legislate. So, in fact, for the Wales Office and for me, nothing much changes, but it does here.
OK, thank you very much, Cheryl Gillen, Secretary of State for Wales. Back to you, Jamie.
Beth Ann, thank you very much indeed. I'm just looking at what's going on outside the Senedd at the moment. You're looking at all of the, I think it's the Yes campaigners. They're just behind me, and they're gathering. Some of them have just been having photographs. Team 2011, I guess they'll call that. But they've been having photographs in the sunshine here in Cardiff Bay on this day that Wales decided yes to more powers for the building behind me. I'm joined by the Presiding Officer, David Ellis-Thomas, and our Political Editor, Betsan Powers. We'll have a word with them in just a moment and what they make of what we've been watching in terms of the results and the reactions and those speeches just a few moments ago. First, let's just have a word from Rhynap Iorwerth, who's been watching all of those results, and we have all of them in now, all 22 of them, and your thoughts on what we've seen.
Yeah, thoughts, some reflections on the picture that has emerged today. Ron Davies said devolution was a process and not an event, and I think we can see the process pictorially in this way, going back not to the 97 referendum but to 1979. All of Wales, every single county voted no. 4-1 the vote against devolution in 79. We came via this picture in 1997 with a very clearly split Wales. Wales exactly 11 counties against, 11 counties for devolution, and only the slightest of majorities. And we've come through now to 2011, and all of Wales, bar Monmouthshire, is painted this greeny blue of ours as Wales votes yes. Some local authorities in particular stick out. I've got to mention, as did Trodry Morgan a minute ago, Flintshire. Flintshire, which was one of the highest no-voting councils in Wales in 1997. Just have a look at this swing since last time. 24% the swing from a no vote in 97 to a yes vote in 2011. And of course, the turnout is low, under 29%, but again, around 35%. That's the number that voted in the London mayoral referendum. Even in Monmouthshire that voted no, the swing since 1997, some 17%, and it really was on a knife edge, just 320 votes between them. We've talked a lot about the east-west split over the years. Let me tot up for you the totals of councils either right on the border or say next to the border, down through Powys, even including Monmouth, that's voted no. And to Newport, I'll include Cardiff here as well. Let's count. Are we counting Monmouth? What's the total? 58.8% yes, right down the east of Wales, which very firmly rejected devolution back in 1997. Yes, turnout was much lower. This was the picture of turnouts this time compared with 1997. But again, politicians on the yes side will say that it compares favourably with other similar referendums, but it will be a talking point. But the story, and there is no denying it, in 2011, Wales said a very clear yes to strengthening the National Assembly for Wales.
Rhyn, thank you very much indeed. David Ellis-Thomas, former MP and member of the House of Lords, presiding officer of the National Assembly. How will this story go down in your former stomping ground in the House of Commons and, of course, the House of Lords? What message is sent out? Does it matter there?
It does indeed, and I did receive the private surrender of a number of my colleagues yesterday afternoon because they could see which way the wind was blowing. I won't mention which men of Gwent were involved in this conversation, but they must have known what was happening. But I think it's a very exciting response that we'll have in the House of Commons and the House of Lords, because people will see that this place is for real. As the First Minister emphasised, DFM emphasised, we now have an equality of legislatures within the United Kingdom, and that's a huge improvement.
We'll talk further in just a few moments, but I think we can cross over again now to the Senedd and talk to more people who are able to spare us a few moments. I think Rachel Banner from the No campaign, we saw her speech just a few moments ago, is with our reporter Beth Ann Lewis, and let's hear her reflections now that we have this result, and she's had a few moments to gather her thoughts. Beth Ann.
Thanks, Jamie. Yes, Rachel Banner's been with us. This is the third time, I think, about 10:30 this morning. Sounds a very long time ago. Your reflections, really, on what's happened today?
We're disappointed with the overall outcome, obviously, but I hope that politicians remember that nearly 300,000 people voted no, and that's a lot of people, and I hope that they'll listen to those voices and won't become so obsessed with lawmaking that they forget to deal with the important fundamental issues of health, education and the economy.
You must be incredibly disappointed, though, with the overall result.
I am disappointed, yeah, and I'm disappointed about turnout too, because we were hoping for a very high turnout. 35% is not really that good.
It's not as bad as some people feared.
They feared that it might be something like 25% last week, and it is slightly better than that, but it's still very low, and we wish that this referendum had been held on Assembly election day when turnout would have been higher. It would have saved £5 million as well.
OK, Rachel Banner, thank you very much. I'm sure you'll be letting your hair down the rest of the No campaign tonight. Back to you, Jamie.
Beth Ann Lewis, thank you very much, and our thanks to Rachel Banner. A lovely afternoon here in Cardiff Bay, and perhaps the start of a lovely evening, a more relaxing evening than many of the recent evenings over the last month for campaigners on both sides of this great debate that's taken place in Wales over the last few weeks or so. David Ellis-Thomas, what changes in terms of the work over the road here? You're going to have to start dealing with acts now, aren't you? That's what's going to happen.
Bills and acts.
Bills and acts.
And bill in Welsh as well. My last job in the office this morning was deciding that we'd get rid of the word measures forever in both languages, so it'll be bills and acts.
And have Buckingham Palace been on the phone talking about the seal? Because presumably there's a seal, isn't there, for all the documents?
I haven't been on the phone, but discussions have been going on. It's the First Minister's responsibility. He's the keeper of the seal. We were responsible to develop the Royal Badge of Wales, which we have on our current laws. And we are very keen to have a slightly bigger badge with some proper supporters. So no doubt there'll be some more dragons, supporters in the heraldic sense, you understand. So there'll be a few more dragons about. But the key thing is that my understanding is that the proposed order for the commencement will be laid next week and will be taken through the Assembly. This doesn't have to go to Westminster for approval.
I want to bring Carwyn Jones in now, because Beth Ann Lewis is with him in... I think we can talk to Carwyn Jones, who joins us now from the Senedd. Beth Ann, over to you.
Yes, a very happy First Minister joins me now. Your reflections on today?
A long haul, a lot of work, but a clear and decisive victory across Wales. As I say, from west to east, north to south, Wales is united in a way that it wasn't in '97.
What were the key reasons, do you think, for your victory here?
We tried to explain what was a complicated question in, we hope, a simple way. It wasn't possible to do it across the whole of Wales, but those people who understood that what we were trying to do was just to make things work more effectively and more efficiently here, they came out and they voted yes.
Very briefly, are the gloves off now, ready for the Assembly elections?
Not tonight, but of course we have an Assembly election on May the 5th, and before long all the parties will be setting out their stalls to the people of Wales, and of course people will be able to vote on what the Assembly government should look like after May the 5th.
First Minister, thank you very much. Back to you, Jamie, I think, for the final time.
Beth Ann Lewis, thank you very much indeed for all of your work today. And a final word, a quick word from Betsan Powers at the end of an historic day.
Yes, certainly. I would say simply look at the maths, look at the map, look at the incredible changes in attitude since 1997. If you leave today with anything before we go on to discuss the future, just look at that change in attitude.
Beth Ann, thank you very much indeed, and my thanks too to Rhys Iorwerth, who's been here crunching all the figures. Thank you very much for your time, and we must also thank the presiding officer, David Ellis-Thomas, for his company here this afternoon. Comprehensive coverage continues in BBC Wales today at 6:30 this evening, so I hope you'll join us for that. But that is the end of our live coverage on Referendum 2011. Thank you very much for your company. Good afternoon.
you.